Hi, everyone. I'm Gina Jadove, a certified trauma recovery coach. Dr. Anderson asked me to share with you some info about trauma and the brain, since you are currently learning about classical psychological theories. Trauma recovery is a newer, evolving approach that builds on what we've learned from traditional psychology, but with a deeper understanding of how the nervous system, safety, and connection shape healing. This understanding moves beyond thoughts and behaviors. It looks at how trauma lives in the body, how the brain adapts to survive, and most importantly, how we can support the brain in learning new pathways towards healing. Okay, so let's begin. Today, I will briefly touch on three topics. What is trauma? Trauma and the brain, and neuroplasticity. I know this is going to be a lot of information coming at you fast, but Dr. Anderson will have this PowerPoint and some posters and also my website information so that you guys can just go back and look at this at your own pace. All right. So I encourage you just to kind of relax and listen and think about what you hear. All right. So what is trauma? Trauma is an event or a series of events that overwhelms our ability to cope. It can leave us feeling unsafe, powerless, or disconnected. Trauma can result from sudden intense events, for example, a car accident, an emergency medical procedure, even losing a loved one. These are widely recognized trauma events, right? But consider this. Trauma can also result from bullying, chronic stress, or even lack of support. It's how your nervous system responds to what feels unsafe, unpredictable, or overwhelming. So, your brain and trauma. Your brain is a protector. Your brain's number one job is to keep you safe. If you've lived through hard stuff, your brain learned how to survive, which is actually very clever, right? So the brain is always scanning for danger. Now remember, it's your number one job is to keep you safe. Survival is a sign of strength. If you've lived through hard or overwhelming experiences, your brain adapted to help you get through them. These adaptations, like maybe hypervigilance, numbing, or people pleasing, are signs of your brain doing its job. And what is its number one job? To keep you safe. Your brain has an alarm system. There's a part of your brain called the amygdala. It's like a smoke alarm. When it thinks something's not safe, it goes off, even if there's no real fire. After hard experiences, the alarm system can become more alert to keep you safe. Trauma can make it extra sensitive. So you might notice reactions like sudden anxiety, panic, shutdown, or even irritability, often with no clear reason. These are signs your internal alarm got triggered. I'm going to give an example of hypervigilance, which is reading a room looking for danger. A facial expression or a tone of voice can actually trigger someone if they've had trauma from some type of very difficult experience. So, like a facial expression, they might interpret it as, oh gosh, are they mad at me? Am I going to get in trouble? Um, you know, wonder what I did. Or a tone of voice can make someone think, oh man, did I get a bad grade? Or am I going to lose my job? Or is my boss mad at me? So when the alarm is going off, the prefrontal cortex, it steps aside. This is a normal trauma reaction. Because it's your thinking brain, it helps you plan, stay calm, make decisions, and communicate clearly. It's the part of your brain that helps you respond instead of just react. What can you do to bring the prefrontal cortex back online? The path back is regulation. When you feel safe again, the thinking part of your brain comes back online. How to feel safe again? You can use techniques like grounding, which is bringing yourself back in the present moment, breath work, and even supportive connection. Examples of breath work are deep inhale, hold for 4 seconds, and slowly exhale through your mouth for at least 8 seconds or longer. And repeat that 3 to 5 times. I like to challenge myself and see how long I can exhale. Exhale is really important. That's sending signals to your nervous system of safety. So I'm up to around 21 to 26, 27 seconds. How long do you think you can exhale? Another thing that I like to do is what are 3 things you can see, hear, and touch? And when I'm telling myself this out loud, if I can, because of how the brain works best if it can hear it. It goes to the ear and then goes to the brain. I like to paint a picture with my words. So like I'll say it out loud and I'll say, what are 3 things that I can see right now? And then I will look around the room and I will find something and then describe it in detail. What are 3 things that I can hear? I'll start to hear and listen. What are 3 things that I can hear? And then I'm describing that to myself in detail. And the same with touch. So when I was about 7 or 8, I was raised in a very chaotic and violent environment. And so I would take myself outside. So what I was doing is I was removing myself from the chaos, right? And I would take myself outside and sit out in the backyard. And I'd started this little practice where I would just try to hear something as far away as I could. And I try to visualize what that was. So I'd be like, okay, the guy down the street, I can hear him pulling into his driveway and going into his house. Or I'd say, okay, I can hear the dog that's a couple of houses down barking. Or I can hear the traffic on the street and I can hear that old man in his truck going by because he goes by every day. And so what I was doing is I was listening to my internal wisdom. And we all have internal wisdom. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And at such a young age, my internal wisdom was teaching me being in the present moment, mindfulness. And so I was using this. I didn't know that I was being in the present moment. I didn't know I was being mindful, but because of my internal wisdom, it was helping me regulate my nervous system because of the situation I was in. So these techniques that I'm sharing with you, these are scientific backed, really good stuff that hopefully will help you. So trauma lives in the body, not just the mind. It's not just what happened, it's how your body experienced it. You can feel the effects of trauma even when you're not actively thinking about the past. Your body adapted to keep you safe, zoning out, disassociation, people pleasing, fawning, or shutting down, freeze, were all ways your body helped you survive. These responses are intelligent. Mind-body connection is key to healing. Talking about trauma can help, but so can listening to your body. Somatic practices like grounding, movement, breath work help bring the nervous system back to safety. Movement. So this is something I just wanted to kind of key in on. It's important to try to move your body when you're feeling anxious, angry, afraid, okay? Because it's important to shake off that excess energy. Studies have shown that movement, dance, walking, and just shaking your arms and hands help let go of the excess nervous energy and our bodies sometimes build up. Okay, so this section right here has a lot of really good information. So just kind of try to follow along. Remember, you will have this PowerPoint so that you can go back and review it if you want to. All right, so your nervous system has different states. It has the safe and social, the fight and flight, and the freeze and shutdown. If you can visualize your body as a ladder with these 3 states, it can help you identify where you are in your nervous system. And that's really key. That's really important because if you can say, oh, if you can recognize, oh, I'm feeling X, Y, and Z and I'm in fight or flight, that then you can name, okay, how you're feeling and choose the best supportive action for you. So you can, you know, oh, I can do this or I can do that. So I'm going to explain in more detail. But first, if you can't, if you find that you can't visualize this ladder and you can't visualize your body as this ladder, that is okay. It is okay. There are other practices you can do. All right. Sometimes we have problems visualizing certain things, and that's really okay if you can't. So at the top of the ladder, safe and social, you should feel calm. You might feel calm, open, and grounded, able to connect with others, curious and present. This is your regulated state where healing and connection happen, curiosity and creativity. At the middle of the ladder, the fight and flight, you might feel anxious, restless, angry, or panicked, like you need to escape or fix something right away. This has got to be fixed right away. This is your mobilizing energy. Your body is preparing for danger. So it's getting you ready for fight or flight. At the bottom of the ladder, you might feel numb, exhausted, withdrawn, or invisible, disconnected from your body or surroundings. This is your protective collapse, a way to survive something overwhelming. So what can you do to go from the middle of the ladder, say fight or flight, to the top of the ladder and feel safe and social? Remember those breathing exercises we've been talking about? Lengthen your exhale. Okay, so remember, you inhale deeply and slowly through your nose, count for 4 seconds. Then this is really important, that exhale. The longer the exhale, the better. So remember, we want to exhale at least 8 seconds or longer. And this is very important because that sends signals to your nervous system that you are safe. The longer the exhale, the better. So you want to do this a few times, maybe 3 to 5 times. Just kind of do it. And while you're doing it, pay attention to like your shoulders. Pay attention to your body. So you're doing your breathing exercises, and a lot of times when we're angry or anxious or afraid, then our shoulders will be up here. It's called armoring. And so our shoulders will be up here actually, and they're very tight. And so if you can just pay attention to your shoulders and then consciously go, okay, let's soften those shoulders. Soften our shoulders and relax. This will actually send, again, signals to your nervous system that you are safe. So why it works. Long exhales activate the parasympathetic nervous system and signal safety to the body. So there's a little note here that I really want to make sure you guys pay attention to. So when you are in freeze shutdown at the bottom of the ladder, you can't actually go from the bottom of the ladder directly to the top back in safe and social. You have to work a little bit harder, first doing something to help you get back to, believe it or not, in the middle, fight or flight, which is called hyperarousal. What do you think you can do? Well, it's about movement. So the first thing you can do is try something small like a rhythmic movement, like wiggle your fingers or your toes. You can gently sway side to side in your chair. You can tap your feet on the ground, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. You can stand, so you're in a standing position, and you can rock your weight from heel to toe, heel to toe. So why this works? Movement helps bring energy back into the body in a non-threatening way. It signals to your nervous system that I'm here. I can move. I'm not stuck. Okay? So you're telling your body, yep, I've got this. I can move. I'm okay. I'm not stuck in this. I can do something. All right? So pair that movement with a grounding phrase like, it's okay to come back slowly. My body is waking up. I love that one. Once you have returned to the middle of the ladder, okay, fight and flight, can you think of something that might help you shift to the top, safe and social? So you can try listening to a calmer voice or sound, put on a gentle playlist, nature sounds, or someone's warm, steady voice. You can listen to a podcast or meditation. Let your breath slow as you listen. If it feels good, hum or softly sing along. Why it works. Sound, especially voices, music, and rhythm, activates the ventral vagus nerve. And it's a nerve that goes literally from our head all the way through our body and back, helping your system shift into safety and connection. I usually hum. I'll just do a real slow hum, and this is telling my nervous system that we are safe. And it has worked for me many, many times. So I hope those things are helpful to you. So I really want you guys to understand that these reactions that we've been talking about, they are protective. They are doing that to protect you. So like shutting down, going numb, panicking, or even people pleasing. They aren't bad behaviors. They are automatic survival responses. I'm going to say that again. They are automatic survival responses. Your nervous system is trying to protect you. All right. You may have not consciously chosen to act that way, all right, react that way, but they helped you get through, all right? They did. They got you to this point. They helped you get through. So you've been surviving the best way you knew how, all right? And that's good. Like I said, that's intelligence. The goal now is to learn new, more helpful ways to respond. That's where that wonderful thing called neuroplasticity comes in. So I know it's been a lot of information so far. All right. So let's take a little pause and I'll just recap. Okay. So what is trauma? Trauma is not just the event itself, it's the impact it has on your nervous system. Okay. It happens when an experience overwhelms your capacity to cope or be able to respond with safety. What can cause trauma? Well, trauma can come from any situation your nervous system experiences as unsafe, unpredictable, or overwhelming. It's not about the event being big enough, it's about how your body and brain responded. Remember, your brain's job, its number one job, is to protect you. It adapts quickly to help you survive, even if that means shutting down, going numb, panicking, or people pleasing. So, how trauma can show up. Remember, trauma is stored in the body, not just in the memories. Survival responses, all right, trying to protect you, can look like numbing, shutting down, panic, um, freezing, or even fawning. They're not bad behaviors. They are not bad behaviors. They are protective responses, and that's very intelligent and clever. How to support regulation. To bring your prefrontal cortex, your thinking brain, back online and help your nervous system feel safer and calmer. Try grounding techniques. Name 3 things you can see, name 3 things you can hear, or name 3 things you can touch. That brings you back into the present moment. Especially if you're starting to have like those thoughts that just loop and loop and loop and loop. Okay, this can help you. The grounding technique of bringing yourself back into the present moment. What are 3 things that can help you with that too? So breath work. Deep inhale, hold for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 8 seconds or longer. And like I said, challenge yourself to see how long you can exhale. I'm up to like 21 seconds, sometimes 27 seconds. Movement, stretch, walk, shake it out. Let your body discharge that energy. Connection. Reach out to a trusted person or a support system, a friend, someone that you feel safe with, or a family member that you feel safe with. Present moment anchoring. I love this one. Ask yourself, what is true and safe for me right now? You just go, what is safe and true for me right now? And then answer it. So I hope some of this has helped you guys. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the concept called neuroplasticity. And this is basically your brain being able to learn new things and adapt. All right, it's a wonderful thing that your brain is able to do. So during trauma, your brain learns to survive, right? It adapts quickly to help you stay safe by staying alert, shutting down, or avoiding danger. These responses are signs of your nervous system doing its job. With practice, you can feel more safe, calm, and connected even after really hard things happen. And that's so important. I want you guys to hear that again. With practice, you can feel more safe, calm, and connected even after really hard things have happened. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change, adapt, and form new pathways, no matter your age or past experiences. When you practice new thoughts, movements, or calming experiences, your brain begins to rewire itself. Your brain begins to rewire itself. Over time, these new patterns can support safety, connection, and emotional healing. It's how healing happens, one small step at a time. So, what are neural pathways? Well, think of your brain like trails in the woods. All right, so we have a lot of trails in the woods. Every time you have a thought, feeling, or reaction, your brain actually creates a little path. If you've had to survive scary or stressful things, your brain probably built a lot of fast paths for shutting down, getting anxious, or people pleasing because those reactions kept you safe. These paths are called neural pathways. So with practice, we can adapt and we can create new pathways that are better serving us now. Okay. So if you just practice these things, and it takes some time, but after you practice them, you will create new neural pathways. Now, I like to visualize new neural pathways as golden strands. Okay. Golden strands in my brain. They're soft, shimmering lines of connection in the brain. And the more we practice supportive habits or calming experiences, the stronger, longer, and thicker these golden strands become. And so I like to think about like the more I practice my breath work, the more I practice my what are three things that I can see, hear, and touch, the more I practice getting up and going and taking a walk every day, taking a walk, taking a mindful walk, right? So what is a mindful walk? Like you go on a walk and maybe you're at USAO and you're walking on the oval and you just look at the different barks on the trees. We have so many beautiful trees there. Gosh, you can just walk and look at the different barks and look at the patterns of the bark. That's a mindfulness type walk. So the more we do that, I like to think of them as golden strands in our brains, those new neural pathways that are getting longer and thicker and stronger. Over time, they create new pathways that help us feel safer, steadier, and more connected. So I titled this one Practice, Patience, and Support. So every time you do something different, even something small, your brain starts to build a new path. It's like saying, hey brain, we don't always have to go down the fear road. We can take the calm trail now. But here's one thing, the old pathways are fast and familiar. So remember, we have some old pathways in there, right? And they're fast and familiar. The brain, they happen quickly and the brain reaches for them because it knows it works, right? The new ones that we're working on, the more supportive ones for now, they may feel slow, awkward, or even weird at first. And that is normal. It's normal for our new supportive practices to feel off for a bit. That's normal. It just takes practice, patience, and support to create these new neural pathways. So I like to look at this like building muscle. When we go to the gym, what are we doing? We're lifting weights and we're trying to build muscle. So we're lifting those heavier weights and we're kind of actually ripping down some of the muscle so that then it can grow back thicker and stronger, right? Well, you can look at that the same way when you're building your emotional muscles. Got to practice, practice, practice. Okay, you got to practice this stuff. Um, you've got to it's best to practice this stuff when you're not activated. Okay, it's better because why? When we're activated, our prefrontal cortex may be kind of offline for a bit. So you want to practice this stuff when we're not activated. So I just sometimes will be in the house and practice my what are three things that I can see, hear, and touch. Or I'll practice my breathing. I do my breathing work every day. I love my breathing work. Or like I said, if I start to feel anxious, I may say, hey, you know what? If I can, I'm going to get up and go take a quick walk. Just those simple things, doing them daily is truly building new neural pathways. It's going to help us. So after a while, your brain will stop reaching for the old pathways, all right? Because it goes, oh, okay, wait a minute. We've built new, more supportive, better habits, and I want to reach for those instead. So it'll stop reaching for the old pathways and start using the new and improved pathways, okay? New pathways begin forming right away, okay? They start as soon as you start a new anything, okay? Like I said, a feeling, a thought, a reaction, your brain starts to kick in and starts to create a new pathway. The way we make them stronger is repetition is what strengthens those paths, okay? So I like to say every time I show up in a new way, I'm laying down golden strands, all right? Every time I show up in a new way, I'm laying down golden strands. So new pathways begin forming right away around 21 days. It takes about 21 days. And I like to say 21 days to about a month, honestly. For most of us, for younger people, it probably is around 21 days. But for someone that's older, I think it takes more about a month for the new neural pathways to build up strong muscles. Okay? I mean, they'll be in there working for you, but it takes around 21 days to a month for it to really build up the strong muscles. Most important thing is to just show up for yourself. Show up for yourself every day and practice your emotional muscle building. Just show up every day and practice your what are three things or your breathing exercises or going for a walk. Okay? And the reason I can tell you that this does work, all right, these things are actually scientific backed, okay? They're proven, is I had been practicing a lot of my new coping skills, all right? And then I was in a situation that was pretty scary. I was viewing this situation that was pretty scary and challenging. And I was actually taking pictures so that I could document what was going down. And then I had a thought, right? We have our thoughts, right? And I had a thought and I thought, oh man, I hope they don't turn around and see me taking pictures because then they might come after me. That thought, that's all it took for to have that thought. My amygdala went into engagement. Is like, oh, you are under threat. You were under threat. You're in danger, right? My prefrontal cortex kind of went offline a little bit. And I felt my heart rate just, I mean, up. Okay. So I happen to have a little meter that gauges my heart rate. And I used it and it was, my heart rate was 144 beats per minute. All right. Isn't that crazy? And I could feel it. I could hear it. So what did I do? I removed myself from the situation as far away as I could. So I moved myself and I just got as far away as I could. And then when I felt that I was far enough away, I sat down and I started doing what are three things that you can see, hear, and touch? And I kept naming them in detail. And I kept, because I wanted to bring my prefrontal cortex back online. So I was naming them in detail. And I was saying it out loud so that my brain could hear it really well. Okay? And then I went from that to my breathing exercises. And I started, I put my hand over my heart and I just started breathing in really deep and holding for 4 seconds and allowing 8 seconds or longer for exhale. And I did that probably 5 or 7 times. Then I also did the anchoring. I said, okay, I can feel my feet on the ground. I can feel my feet on the ground. I can feel my body in this chair. I can feel the weight of my body in this chair. Okay? I even wiggled my toes and I said, I can feel myself wiggling my toes. Okay? And by doing these things, and I also was very aware of my shoulders, and I softened my shoulders. In 10 minutes, I'm serious, just in 10 minutes, I checked my heart rate again and it was down to normal. It was down to like 65. And that was so like validating to me that my hard work with the coping skills, and I had been practicing and practicing and practicing, had kicked into gear. It kicked into gear. And it brought me back into safety. It told my nervous system, you're safe. You are okay. All right? So I wanted to share that story with you because this stuff really does work. It really can work. So I just put this slide in here to give you an example written out about the what are three things, so that if you guys want to screenshot it or whatever, you can, so you have it on your cell phone. But this is a grounding and present moment activity. And it's all about, especially like if we start to have those catastrophic thoughts, like we start thinking about all kinds of bad things that can happen all of a sudden. Okay, we know we're doing that. All right, we realize it, we're aware. Okay, what is something I can do to help myself right now? What are three things I can see, hear, and touch? Bring that prefrontal cortex back online. All right, so remember, you want to send signals to your nervous system to feel safe again. All right, so paint a mental picture as you're describing these things to yourself. Really use detail. See if you can say it out loud. And then each detail helps your body remember, I am safe and I am here. And I am safe now. I am here. And even if you tell yourself that, I am here and I am safe right now. One of the things I like to do is I go, Gina, are you breathing? I actually ask myself that. I go, Gina, are you breathing? Yes, I am. But what it does is it gets me to take in a big, deep breath and slowly exhale. All right. So hopefully that is a good thing for you to try to do. So you're safe now and you have choices. And that's what you need to keep telling yourself. I'm safe now and I have choices. What are those choices? Oh my gosh. Well, I've explained all kinds of things that you can use and choose to do to try to build those neural pathways so that then you have support with your nervous system. So remember, your brain found brilliant, creative ways to protect you. All right? And that matters. All right? Your brain found brilliant, creative ways to protect you. Those survival strategies may not serve you the same way they once did. And that's okay. So anxiety coming up, that was a survival strategy that once served you. But it may not serve you now as much because you're no longer in that situation, right? So we need to replace it with something that's more supportive now, all right? And it's okay that those may not serve you the same way they once did. Now you have the chance to help your brain learn new ways to protect and support you, ways that feel safer, steadier, and more aligned with who you're becoming. It's about creating new experiences that remind your nervous system you're safe now. Okay? So I just want to say thank you for spending this time exploring how trauma impacts the brain and how healing is possible through neuroplasticity. Your brain has been protecting you, and now with small, steady steps, it can learn new ways to feel calm, connected, and in choice. To support that journey, you have tools that I've explained, but you can also find more on my website. I have free resources there. If you go to jadovtraumarecovery.com/resources, there's a whole section on different types of grounding toolkits, which I love grounding toolkits, okay? They really do help settle your nervous system, and there's all kinds of information on there, free, everything's free, okay? A memory card game that I created, and what the memory card, there's three, I think, there's three memory card games on there, and they help to build mindfulness and awareness and present moment stuff. I worked really hard on those memory card games, and again, they're there for you guys to test out and to try. Reframing thoughts, there's a reframing thoughts section to shift old patterns, all right, into empowering ones. And then there's a really fun section called Glimmers, and those are just small present moment examples, all right, that I feel that invite safety and joy to myself. All right, so it may be a picture of a tree, it may be a picture of a flower or something like that. But as there's a video on there, I think of a bee buzzing. Okay, so the thing is that these are just examples. The thing that I want you to get from glimmers is that to start looking for glimmers, things throughout the day that you can kind of see and find that maybe bring you joy and make you feel safe. And it can be anything. It can be a rock. It can be a pretty rock. It can be a friend's smile. It can be petting your cat. Those are glimmers, all right? So remember that healing doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, let me just do everything that she said and then some. It can begin with one nervous system safety at a time. So just kind of try some things out. And if you find something that works, like you like the deep breathing and such, start with that. Just start with that. We don't need to do all of it at once unless you just feel like it. All right. Well, remember, um, uh, you'll have this information on the PowerPoint. All right. And you'll also have the information to my website to the free resources. I put my website up here so that it's easy to get to, jadovetraumarecovery.com/resources. All right. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.